Here is one of the ways that ICE is lying to you. In the last month that there's data, ICE detained people in 456 facilities, but they acknowledged using only 220 of them on their website. On the one hand, that's not surprising because these are the people that are law enforcement agents that are wearing masks. Insert here historical comparison of KKK and ICE. And maybe you're like, internet guy, maybe they just didn't put it on their website. Did you think of that? No, I did. I checked. They put everything on their website. Here's ICE's website. They use it to brag about all their atrocities. And if you scroll down to the bottom, you can see ICE detention statistics. And if you download it, you get a CSV file into your documents that has everything, including all the facilities and where they're at, except it's not all the facilities. They're lying to you. And the reason that I know that you can download all the data from ICE's website is because I saw reporting that ICE had detained 66,000 people last month compared to 60,000 people the month before. And I was troubled by that, and I wanted to verify that claim. So I did, and it's true. Here's how I know. One of the ways that I know is I checked the Vera Institute, which I would consider, in an oversimplified way, a liberal source. And then I checked ICE's website, which agrees. And I know they agree because I told you that you could download that data. And don't take my word for it. If you go down to this, literally ICE's data. Sorry, I had to zoom out. I highlighted a couple things because I'm trying to understand a couple of things about this data specifically. You can, if you look at this tab, you can see the people that have been in ICE detention for more than a year, in between a year and 2 years. And it's not a trivial number of people. So why are there people sitting in ICE detention centers for 2 years at a time? That doesn't make any sense. I guess, I don't know whether this argument will even land with the people that I need to convince about this, but that's taxpayer money being used to fund just holding people indefinitely, with in places that we know there's reporting that there's human rights abuses in horrible conditions. So taxpayer dollars being used to hold people for indefinite periods of time in inhumane conditions is part of what I mean by they use this website to brag about their atrocities, and yet they will also wear masks when they're out in public, so make that make sense. But the reason I pulled this tab is because down here at the bottom of this, if you just spend a little time clicking through, you can see that there's totals, and then here I'm seeing only 30,000. That's because we are in 2024. So 2024, it's in the 30,000s, and then let's zoom all the way to 2026, which is right now. So May, June, July, April 2026. I don't know what those 5 mean yet. I want to try to know, but there's a lot in this data table. Here we are, 66,000. Sorry, we're on TikTok, and you probably can't see that. Zoom, 66,494. So the liberal sources and the conservative sources are agreeing on this number. So this is a fact in a world where that doesn't exist anymore. So whatever your political leanings and whether or not you think this is a good thing or a bad thing, I'm going to assume for the rest of this video that this is a true thing, which is a concept I want to not abandon even in the rise of fascism, which is another claim people make all the time. But it appears that there is a rise in law enforcement wearing masks, disappearing people into facilities that they, like I said in the beginning of the video, aren't even telling us that they exist and where they are. So that's troubling to me. And I found that troubling because I remember seeing reporting that they had closed Alligator Alcatraz. And I thought mistakenly that meant that this project that Trump was doing of rounding up people in an inhumane way was failing like many other Trump projects are failing, and that is not true. Learning that there's a thing called A plot and B plot, and that's how I'm going to make my long form videos better. Learn that from movies. Thanks, movies. Anyway, so the B plot of this video, that's clunky as heck, but we're learning how to do new stuff, and it's clunky when you learn new stuff, is because I thought that the claim, the Trump administration is not effective at anything except corruption, was true. That's why I assumed, and I thought it was a reasonable assumption, that the closure of Alligator Alcatraz meant that this was just another Trump failed project. And like, if you're keeping score, which this is like the gas prices thing, right? People voted for Trump because they thought he'd help the economy, and the gas prices are out of control, right? The Greenland thing, I don't remember why, but do you remember, like, I'm going to get America, Greenland for America, and like turns out nope. And then the Ukraine war, like, I'm going to end the war in Ukraine, which is a phone call because I'm a negotiator and whatever. I put squiggle quotes around. I should technically put squiggle quotes around this because it's not a real quote. It's the summary. I don't have the source for it, so I want to make that clear to future me in case I read this again. So I don't think I had a source for that, and I didn't. Ukraine war. I can end the war in Ukraine with a phone call. Like, nope. And then like the Iran war. You remember? There's like a deal. There's not a deal. There's ceasefire. There's not a ceasefire. And the Epstein files. Like, people voted for Trump because they thought that he would release the Epstein files and stop protecting a class of people so rich that they can engage in one of the worst behaviors that a human being can engage in. And like, he's hiding that information despite the fact that like Congress passed a law demanding. It's hard to even keep up with all of the stuff. But like, the claim that the Trump administration is not competent at anything except for corruption, like, needs to be revised. That's not an accurate claim, and we'll get to the revision in a second. As I'm editing this, I have to insert that, like, I think I'm being a little bit too weak in the way that I'm characterizing the Epstein files as a failed Trump project. Because like, it's not just that they failed to release the information, and like calling it a failure feels disingenuous because like, we've learned more things, and I almost don't want to show this image because it's disturbing and weird and creepy. But if I've learned anything from Viktor Frankl when I was reading his book, you have to take a sober and real accounting of the reality of the situation around you in order to like survive complicated times. And it's disgusting to look at, but like, this letter's creepy as fuck. And like, just remember that this guy ran on promises of like holding this guy accountable, and then he like, there's hundreds of pictures of them together. Like, I know that facts don't exist anymore, but whether or not like you can infer from the fact that Trump was dear friends with Epstein that he was like aware of what was going on, and either aware of what was going on or participated in what's going on, like whether you can make that inference is a separate thing from whether or not it's a fact that they were friends. So the revision to the claim is the Trump administration is not effective at anything except corruption, right? It's actually the Trump administration is not effective at anything except corruption and increasing the number of people that they're rounding up on unmarked vans and moving into what feel increasingly like concentration camps. And that's a phrase I don't have time to like back up why I'm using that word. Lulu Miller's book, Why Fish Don't Exist, talks about the history of eugenics and the like fact that some of the Nazi ideologies originated in America. And we don't have time to get all the way into that, but like, for purposes of this video, right, the claim is that he's effective at corruption and is effective at rounding up big people into either concentration camps or ICE facilities that they're like not telling us where they are, what they exist. And he's also effective at protecting pedophiles / protecting himself. And there's a reason that I put protecting pedophiles / himself, because like, he's not protecting Epstein. Epstein died in prison and was arrested. So like, who is he protecting by concealing the information? To me, that lends credence to the fact that he either knew what was going on and did nothing, or participated in what was going on. And again, on the like, they are effective at unmarked vans. Like, we know this because the ICE numbers, which we downloaded and went over already. So a couple of things to just sort of wrap up. To lend credence to the ineffectiveness of the Trump administration, I started like listing out like people that are weird, like the RFK and the MyPillow guy, right, that are just like bad at their jobs. And I don't even remember Betsy DeVos. What's the name of the lady who runs the DOE and like is supposed to run the Department of Education, but like doesn't want to educate? She's like trying to abolish the department that she's supposed to run, and like doging. Anyway, having trouble wrapping up this video into like a coherent narrative, and I want to do that because one of the other things that I missed in the analysis is like, there is something else that Trump is effective at. It's 3 things, and one of those things is like controlling the narrative in an era of social media. Trump is really good at spectacle and outrage, which are the currencies of attention in algorithmically mediated attention economies. But to sort of put this into the context of the video that we're talking about. Like the Trump administration is mostly ineffective, except they're effective at like doing atrocities. ICE is lying to you. Trump is lying to you. They're trying to destroy the concept of truth, and like taking accountability for it's really hard for him to do historically. And I would bet, like, just putting myself in the shoes of someone who voted for him, like, you either did so because you wanted to protect your own interests, or you were interested in being complicit in the darkest impulses that human history has ever offered, in the form of the eugenic impulse to like keep America for Americans. That's code for keep America white. It's not even code anymore. Like, I was trying to cite this book also. It's just the truth that you either voted for him because you wanted to protect your own economic interest, which meant that you were being deceived, or you voted for him because a part of you wanted to participate in the dark human impulse of destroying other humans. And I don't know what to do except to invite you to change your mind. There's a preponderance of evidence. Trump lies about stuff. There's a preponderance of evidence. And I think that even if you cannot agree with me on some of the points that I have made, I think it is worth like agreeing with the very concept of truth itself, which has been under attack since the beginning. And it's most recently with the Fauci thing, because again, he's effective at controlling the narrative. He's losing on the Iran war, so he pivots to trans panic and COVID again. Like, this is the man that is running things. It's not too late to change your mind. And I think a lot of liberal people think that conservative people are dumb, and I don't agree with that. I think that being deceived is one thing, and being intentionally evil is another thing, but I think that it's reasonable to ask if he has lied about all of these things, and the people that are most effective in his administration are also liars. Why should we believe them when they say immigrants are the problem? Food for thought. See ya.